All right, casting another AOE Leagues 1v1 set, Division E. Got a matchup here, TrickyMicky90 versus Marts. Tricky enjoyed listening to me mock his gameplay so much in week 1. He asked if I'd cast his set again here in week 2. So, yeah, the matchup with Marts. Marts, I believe, a 1,300 or so 1v1 player. Tricky, currently a 1,100 ELO 1v1 player. And we've got game 1 here on Cup. So this is the home map for Marts throughout the entirety of the season. Actually, you see him moving forward there with a sheep, doing some sheep scouting out on the water. Yeah, so let's just scout out. Okay, over here, looking for the last group of sheep hanging out over there. But yeah, this is a bit of a wild map. So you've got back woodlines, back gold, back berry. So all that looks safe as it is. But then there's this water, which makes for a really interesting dynamic. You want to try to, it's good fish out there. So you want to get control of the water. Also, having control of the water lets you force your enemy to kind of walk around on land, because if you're out there, so you can use demo ships. But just as water can be used to harass land, land units can be used to harass water. You can use scouts to snipe fishing boats or block fishing boats, militia to do the same, and so forth. So, all right, we've got a mirror matchup, Japanese on both sides. That's gotta be probably, I would think, the best civ on this map, with all the fishing bonuses and wood savings. I vaguely recall watching this map back in Hidden Cup 4 and remembering Japanese being kind of the big pick at the time. Tricky bringing in boar number 1. 4 on wood. What do we got over here? Same for Marts. Looks like similar builds. Question is when these players will dock. All right, there we go. Tricky dropping dock number 1. Adding a couple more to wood so he can continue the fishing ship production after that dock is up. Ooh, looks like he just located those sheep as well. And dock coming down for Marts at almost the exact same time. So very similar builds for these two players. Marts with 5 on wood, Tricky with 6 on wood. And then these two players will presumably ham food until it is time to click up. Tricky bringing in boar number 2. Neither player with really any idle time to speak up so far. Well, that's not good. That's not good. Little TC boar slaughter. Yeah, so that's, what, 300 food? Is that what's on a boar? 300? 300 food down the drain. So, yeah, already an uphill battle for Tricky up against a player with 200 ELO points on him, and now down a starting boar. No bueno. All right. Hopefully he can make up for that in the fishing ship production. 2 fishing ships out for Tricky, second out for Marts as well. And like I said, basically identical build, same villager distributions at the moment. Look at Tricky's scouting intel here. Really nice scouting, actually. He's just located the dock. Has really good visibility around his base. We got Marts scouting in here as well. What does Marts see? Also very nice scouting from Marts. Hasn't located the main gold or the berries quite yet, but not as important, as these players won't be taking berries until feudal age. Blacksmith barracks coming down here for Marts, so we're gonna have men at arms. Yeah, we can loom now. Gotta be men at arms, I would think. All right, Tricky'sville's nowhere to go for food, so it looks like he's going to berries. Oh, could have garrisoned the TC. Does take a little bit of HP off, but not that much. But yeah, here I think Tricky wants to get to second lumber camp. What's his distribution? Yeah, only 10 on wood. Dropping some farms as well, so maybe not confident that he's going to be able to maintain hold of water. All right, Tricky is up. Marts is up, both with 24 vills. Tricky a little bit further behind. The minute and a half of idle time versus 24 seconds of idle time. No doubt having to do with the loss of the boar. All right, we've got... Yeah, this is looking like men-at-arms here from Marts. I'm assuming he's going to upgrade those boys. 3 of them being produced. Tricky dropping a barracks. Looks like he's planning on going archers here. 4 fishing ships for Tricky, 3 for Marts. Marts adding a 4th, so... Yeah, does Marts... My guess, he goes men-at-arms, opens with a fire, 1 range. For Tricky, just now going to gold. Yeah, I think Tricky's gold income is going to force him to choose between either water or land, and because he's facing a drush here on land, my guess is he plays water, or sorry, plays land, loses control of water. All right, this is not looking good for Tricky here. Men-at-Arms upgrade comes in. Perfect timing by Marts on that attack. And he's already got villagers pinned in here. Tricky is in big trouble. 1 vill goes down. He's going to fight with vills. 2nd vill goes down. This will be a 3rd here as well. Just brutal. Make it 4. There's that KD. 4 eco units down. And... basically no HP taken off the men-at-arms. Nice quick walls coming down here for Tricky. Needs 1 more. Gets it just in time. Very nicely done. And quick walls coming in on the gold as well. But look at this. The fire ship already out for Marts. Really nice follow-up. Tricky, though, has a fire out as well. Just passing. And these are Japanese fishing ships, so they stick around forever. Alright. Tricky's got a range, got some archers in production. All right. Marts with a 2nd fire. And a 3rd cute as well. So it looks like Tricky's going to lose water here. Also in a bad spot here on land. Japanese men-at-arms attacking 33% faster. So that's just a constant repair job for a vill. Archer's out, Scout's down, so he can't block with that, so that's nice. But yeah, a lot going on here. Tricky fighting on water. Yeah, things are not looking great at the moment. 6 vill lead for Marts. His fishing is under threat, but not any serious threat. Man, those fishing ships are ridiculously tanky. Alright, Marts is willing to lose the men-at-arms here, though. Not fighting... Oh, there he goes. Going for the archer. Nice micro there by Tricky. Noticing that. And what about the follow-up here? We've got 1 range, like we predicted here for Marts. Does he have a blacksmith? I don't see it quite yet. Alright, 2 archers out for Tricky. And there goes the fish. Although Tricky, despite taking all that pressure on water... More food income, although he's going to fall behind on that pretty quickly. There's the blacksmith. Expect Marts to move forward as soon as he has fletching. And he's also still going to have 3 men-at-arms to work as a meat shield in front of those archers. So, not looking good at all here for Tricky. Identical idle time, but look at the KD. That's horrific. 10 kills. 1 death for Mr. Marts. Alright, here they come. Archers moving forward. Fletching is in. Marts timing on point once again. Got an engagement here. 3v2. Fletching for both players. Better micro there from Marts. And Tricky. Yeah, adding in some skirms. Sort of forced to do that at this point. Alright, managing to even things out there in the archer battle. still only sitting on one lumber camp. What about over here? Okay, one lumber camp as well for Mr. Marts. Where are these vills going? Second gold mine. Interesting. A little bit of an exodus. It looks like Tricky's planning on building a second lumber camp. Remember, it's half the price if you're Japanese, so definitely makes sense to get a second lumber camp. And there's a second range for Marts. Who wants to outproduce Tricky here? And here's the other thing. Marts, he'll be clicking up to Castle Age quite soon. Tricky, much longer ways off here. Walls coming down here for Marts as well. Doesn't want to throw this game by allowing a counterattack. Alright, here he comes. Tricky's dock is gone. Marts clicked up. Tricky. Got a long way to go. Just gonna mill those deer. Does Marts wait for Expo? No, looks like he's gonna look for the sneak attack, and he's going to exactly the right spot. Vulnerable part of Tricky's eco. A lot of villagers far from home. I don't think this is gonna go well for Tricky. Yeah, the archers are here. Let's see if they spot those vills. Just barely missing them, but they will get on this wood line. No, they won't. Actually, they're gonna head back. So Marts wants to wait for Castle Age, I think. Alright, does Tricky have a market? With the market, could sell some of that gold to get up, but no, he does not. Oh no. Archers are back. Skirms are here, actually. Tricky might have a chance to clean these archers before March hits Castle Age. Could be a good trade. One vill goes down. Skirm's not able to make contact with many of those archers, and Castle Age is just about in. When Castle Age hits, that'll be about all she wrote. Tricky just now clicking up to Castle Age. He's gonna have to survive here for 2.5 minutes against Expo, and I would guess forward siege. Nope. University for ballistics instead here for Marts. Producing additional fires. And in fact, using the fires to take out Tricky's only range. So Tricky looking at making a stable switch here. Don't think that's going to be the right call. He's not up against Skirms, up against Expo. Which, look at the micro here by Marts. Microing 2 groups of Expo. This is going to be a slaughter. And this is going to be a slaughter over here as well. Yeah, GG. No doubt. Yeah, not really anything Tricky could possibly do at this point. I think probably sticking with Skirms until he could get to Castle Age was kind of the only chance there, but that still would have been much too little, much too late. Even adding in galleys, so Marts, you can see why this is home map, knows exactly how to play it, came in with a strategy that was really well prepared and executed it pretty darn flawlessly. I actually have a really hard time believing this is only a 1300 player. That was kind of clinical. So, yeah, very well played by Marts. Take a look at his eco here. Eco balance. 7 farms, 4 fish. 8. 17 vills. 2 lumber camps. 7 vills on that gold. 5 vills on that gold. Not sure why he spread out to 2 different gold mines, especially with the walls here. I think a second mining camp maybe in the back here would have made more sense, because that just is an unnecessary vulnerability. But maybe he was thinking he had plenty of visibility here with the fishing ships and fires, and so he would have plenty of time to react in case something came in, and maybe was worried about, you know, getting ranged or being attacked from that side. In any case, let's go look at the statistics here. 18 to 6 KD. That sounds about right. If that game had gone for another 30 seconds, that would have been at least twice as bad. Water income's pretty comparable. The food income's actually surprisingly not as different as I would have guessed, but the gold income, that's where the difference really lied. Yeah, Tricky never really able to establish that. Men-at-Arms plagued that position early. And yeah, Tricky just never had a chance really to breathe. Was under pressure from the very start. Same Vilhai actually for both players. That's kind of surprising. No, I guess that makes sense because March spent all that time, spent 2.5 minutes progressing toward Castle Age. Tricky had just clicked up there, so that doesn't really accurately reflect the Vil differences there. All right, game 2. On to Tricky's home map. Let's see what we got here. Steppe. All right, another mirror matchup. Yeah, so just as Japanese are, I think, pretty uncontroversially the best Civ on Cup. I'm actually not sure who would rival them. But yeah, just that is the case. Mongols, I think, indisputably the best Civ for Steppe with the with that hunt bonus and the just crazy abundance of deer out here in the middle. So I think week 1, when Tricky played this map, I went straight archers, if I recall. So let's see if he tries the same here. And let's also see how Marts plays this. Marts may have seen the replays from week 1, and he's going to play something to try to anticipate that strategy. If so, he could look to go straight into skirms, could go scouts into skirms, could maybe try something like a drush, like a pre-mill drush especially would be pretty nice on this map. So yeah, let's keep an eye on that. All right, in terms of TC placement, looks like both players chose to drop their TCs immediately, basically as soon as they started the game, just dropped it where they were. And in terms of proximity, I like Tricky's location here. 3 golds that are quite safe. I mean, they're a bit close together, but they're at least behind his base. Berries are close to the TC, and this is a nice wood line here as well. What about walling this? Yeah, not particularly wallable. That's all right. All right, over on the other side, yeah, Mart's map, don't like it as much. Gold is all forward. So if he loses initiative in early feudal, things could get pretty rough for him there. Berries are really safe, and a little bit of a trek to the wood line. Now, Mickey's wood line is closer as well. So, preference here for Mickey's starting position, I think. All right, let's keep an eye on when these players choose to go out to the middle. And there it is. Okay. Mill coming down for Tricky. He's going to work with that patch of deer. Oh, and actually takes out Mart's scout. So that's huge because, yeah, scouting intel is really important. Mart's gives him the old smile. Yeah, so I was just about to actually make a comment about mill placement. So one thing with Tricky's mill here is he's only got access to 4 deer. So that's what? 4 times 140, and you're investing 100 wood into it. Whereas here you're getting twice as many deer out of that mill. Downside, of course, is that this is right in the middle of the action. So Tricky's able to get up earlier and get aggression out. That mill becomes pretty useless. Whereas this one's probably less likely to be discovered. Yeah. Tricky did not kill his boar. Actually, I've forgotten about that little... Yeah, it was a bad start. Cup was like, that was full Titanic. Alright, 3 to wood here for both players. Alright, Mart is up. Tricky's up. Same builds, both games. Or same up times, both games for On the Way to Feudal Age. Actually, Mart is up a Vil. Why? Okay, I see. Just now clicking. So it was already queued up because he had already queued it up in the TC. Alright, Mart's going to 2 lumber camps here. Hasn't gone to gold yet. Looks like scouts. It looks like scouts. Over here for Tricky. Going to gold. Okay, looking like straight archers. Again here. And let's see if they choose to add some more to the hunt. So only 3 Vils hunting here for Marts. And only 4 for Tricky. Another thing is still, I don't know that I yet have really strong opinions about is location for your starting buildings on this map. I like the barracks here for Tricky because if he does decide to wall, he could work across this way with the houses he's already placed there. Up here for Marts, though, I think either you place it back close to the TC or you get it out in front of the gold. Between the gold there, I don't know that there's any circumstance under which you'd end up walling with that barracks. Don't really like that location, but look at this. Tricky's already got his range out. The stable only halfway up here. I'm liking Tricky's position, especially if he scouts forward. It looks like he lost his scout as well. I missed that. Yeah, if he's able to pick up on the stable, he could get a spear in there with his archer. Look at this, though. Mart's expecting scouts. So much so that he's already committed a spearman to the front. 2 spearmen. So he's going to be a little surprised here to see an archer. Nice micro there by Tricky. That'll be 1 scout down. And Mart's actually going to gold here. What is this about? Looking for a really quick archer transition, maybe. Yeah, here's where Tricky needs that spear. All right, cues it up right away as soon as he sees the scout. But no fletching, so he can't really deal with this scout. Loses 1 archer. And Mart's going to be able to stay on that hunt for at least a little longer here. All right, here come the spears. What is Mart's follow-up? There's the range. Going to gold, so it looks like he's thinking archers, not skirms. And Tricky gets some damage in before the production really kicks off. Alright, spear separated from the archer, so the archer's gonna get flacked here again. Alright, okay, Tricky has the blacksmith. Now has the res for it, so I think we'll see fletching coming in here in just a second. Identical Vil numbers for the 2 players, really minimal idle time for both players. So they are macroing well behind all this. Tricky with a lot more food in the bank here than Marts. Not clear exactly why that is, but this is looking really good for Tricky. He's got 4 archers on top of Mart's gold. If Marts was looking to go archers, no, he actually is going skirms. Alright, don't go into the TC. Boy, it's too much damage. Scouts going down here for Marts. It's looking better and better here for Tricky. And yeah, this is where the forward gold for Marts that we were talking about before really going to bite him in the butt. And yeah, he's also off food. And look at that, Tricky following up with a 3rd mill. Milled some deer there, milled some deer there. Although there's not much left here. He's only got these 2 deer. And Mart's dropping the farms to try to compensate. Oh, look at this. If he gets on this wood line, Tricky discovers this wood line, that might be GG. Alright, here come the skirms. 4 spears out there for Tricky. Oh, is he going to spot it? Is he going to spot it? Alright, he's locate. Oh, he locates it. Oh, I was looking at the wrong side. I was looking at Mart's side for the fletching. I think Tricky's probably had it longer than I realized. Bill's going down all over the place here from Marts. Though he still has a Vil lead. Tricky ended up having quite a bit of idle time here recently. Probably because he's microing these archers on the front. Which is probably fine. Probably worth it. Alright, he does have to be careful with those Vils as there's scouts in the area. On a second wood line here. It's a massive disruption here for Mart's eco. Even if he's not that far down in Vils. Are there any upgrades on these scouts? No, so really not much Marts can do about this unless he's able to get the skirms and archers over there. Fletching and armor in here for Tricky. Things looking pretty good here. Although splits up his archers. I don't like that because now he's going to get that half clean and then that half clean straight after. Yeah, if Tricky's not careful here, things could definitely swing. I mean, identical Vil numbers. But Marts has some military units. Pretty good mixed composition. He's got scouts, skirms, and archers. A lot of spears out here for Tricky. And yeah, I think we're going to see a counterattack here pretty soon from Marts. Fletching on the way for him. Tricky moving forward with a small group of archers for a sneak attack. There's actually nothing to be found over on this side. Ooh. Scouts being added in here by Tricky. Wants to deal with the enemy skirms. I think here, if you're Tricky, he needed to wait to get a few more scouts, get a little bit better of a mass before showing. There's no way he can fight that mixed composition with just those. But the sneak attack coming in the back. One Vil goes down. Alright, my throat is very dry. Alright, more Vils going down. Tricky now with a 2 Vil lead. Got better upgrades as well. Armor now in on the scouts here for Marts. And Castle Age a long ways off for both these players. 13 farms here for Tricky versus 10 for Mr. Marts. Yeah, Tricky, if he could get a market here. Alright, there it comes. It gets that market up. Could definitely sell some excess gold. Not a lot of military left on the field, though. I'm still worried about a counterattack here for Tricky. And ooh, look at this. Nicely done by Marts. Finding some safe hunt. He's going to need that to get himself up here. All right, Tricky abusing the market a bit. Pretty close to being able to go up here. Ooh, this is very ballsy. Very ballsy. Too ballsy. All right, here comes the pressure. Bill's going to be going down here for Tricky, no doubt about it. One Vil down, second Vil just about down. 99.96% completed mill. And to boot, Tricky, while dealing with that, loses all of his scouts under the TC. And his eco's coming a bit unbalanced there. Tricky had a really significant lead, and now still in a favorable position, but he's got to be careful here. The lead is Much thinner than it was. On the way up to Castle Age. Mart's a long way off. Tricky can survive until he gets to Castle Age. Get some knights out. He'll be able to clean all this. Got another minute, 45 seconds to survive. Second range coming down here for Tricky. Is he thinking Skirm or is he thinking Expo here? Expo, I believe. And that army is growing though. Tricky, 2 military on the field, 15 for Marts. That's where it gets hairy. Actually, Tricky never even took the berries there, so could come back to those a bit later. Ooh. This is scary. This is really scary. Yeah, Marts needs to go full feudal here. Full feudal. Add a second stable to go with the second range. And just keep producing. Look at that. Is he gonna dive? Oh, love these walls by Tricky. That's really nicely done. Doesn't realize he's open in the back here. Mart's actually gonna just dive in here. Alright, Tricky is up. And some knights. He's surviving. He's down 6 vills, though. There's the knights. No, not scouts. Still no knights. Actually looking to go straight into Expo. I think I would have prioritized the knights here, only because Expo would make sense here if Tricky had a massive archer to upgrade to Expo. He's got 2 archers on the field, so it gets very little value out of that Expo upgrade. Could have had immediate value with a couple of knights. Yeah, I think he realizes that now. Gets a knight out. That knight should be able to clean this, no problem. But he's given Marts some time to breathe here. Marts' eco is starting to get under control here. Good looking food eco. 23 farms. So if Marts does manage to get up to Castle Age here, guessing he's going to look to go cav units. Alright. Some spears out. Adding some skirms. But yeah, Tricky, still no military on the field. Only 1 military unit. Has added a second TC. Has the res to add a third here if he wants to be super greedy. But yeah, he's got a nice mismatch here against the feudal age army. Ooh, third range. Cav archer? March keeping the pressure on. I think he's going to be able to get up to Castle Age here pretty soon. This is in a lot of danger for Tricky. Needs military. Needs military. Mart's doing an excellent job continuing the production. Knows that's what he needs to do to survive in this game. And if he does get up to Castle Age, his eco is going to be cranking when he gets there. I think, yeah, Tricky needs that military. He needs it now. This is an opportunity. Mart's 22 military in the field to 6. Has clicked to Castle Age. Alright, Tricky trying to store up a few knights here. Has the rest to drop a second stable. I think that's probably what I'd go for here. What's he got for armor? +1 armor on the knights. Yeah, just can't engage. Doesn't have enough knights there to engage. Certainly not with only +1, but even with +2, it's just too many feudal units. Alright. Tricky's starting to push forward, though. He's got 10 units now, some Expo coming out. Getting good damage on the retreating archers. Bill numbers inching closer and closer here. Yeah, Tricky, if you could pull forward and deny the gold, that would be huge here. You're going to really limit what Marts is able to do when he hits Castle Age. Oh, get those boys forward. Get them forward. Right up on the gold. March is getting close. 50 seconds. Going for bloodlines. Armor upgrade for infantry, so I guess thinking pikes there. Only one archer queued in each of those. What is the play here for him? Still only one stable. Alright, yeah, sort of panic walling now. Tricky starting to regain control of this game. Even even villager numbers. But a much better military composition on the field here for Tricky. Okay, what does Marts go? He's got 3 range, so I'm thinking maybe Cav Archer, but look at that, actually adding a Siege Workshop and Monastery. Not sure if he needs to defend against Knights or Expo. This is amazing value for Tricky, back on the woodlines. He's gonna find this one too, and the third. Marts actually goes for the Expo upgrade and Thumb Ring, just investing in everything there is. Which I don't think is the right strategy for Marts. I think he needed to pick something that he could mass enough of. A little bit of everything strategy is not going to work. These villagers just on the move. Tricky on the hunt. 18 villagers over here. We honestly might see the GG here. This would be so tilting. Just an assembly line. Oh, jeez. Oh, man. Oh, wow. And no sooner is there a 25-vil lead here for Tricky. Ooh. That was a dicey game for a while there. Tricky had a big lead early. Looked like he was letting it slip away. And I was begging for military, and he produced. Produced and took it forward. Marts just wasn't able to get enough. Ooh, nice quick conversion there for Marts. Marts just wasn't able to get enough damage with that feudal age push. He had the military numbers, but never was able to get deep enough into Tricky's base to really kill large numbers of villagers. Yeah, and this pressure is just going to continue. 69 vills to 35. Slaughter continues. No access to gold here whatsoever for Marts. Alright. Tricky. Oh, is he going to find him? Oh, wow. Okay, this is definitely a GG. There's no way. There's no way Marts doesn't call it here. $32 vills to 73. And look at that. Just for good measure, Tricky's going to drop a castle on Marts' face. Brutal. Brutal. And getting shot in the face while carrying a bundle of logs. 24 vills. This is super over. Really nice play here by Tricky. Yeah, he's both step games, this game and the week 1 game. He's done such a good job of getting pressure out immediately. His build has been clean. His distribution of villagers is really good. Gets those archers out and sends them forward right away. And I don't think, after watching this game, I don't think Marts watched that game 1 wreck, because Marts was definitely expecting scouts. That's not what Tricky did in game 1. He went straight archers just like this. Tricky going for the same build again. And getting rewarded for it in much the same way as he did game 1. And yeah. Yeah, that was brilliantly played. Definitely think it was the right call on Marts' part to try to go full feudal there. You know your opponent was on the way up. And I really think Marts had a chance there. Tricky had no military in the field, no way to deal with Marts' army. But Marts just got stuck here. This little house wall here, I honestly think won the game for Tricky, or I should say, there was a lot of things that won the game for Tricky, but this prevented him from losing a game that he had a really big lead in. So, yeah. GG, well played by both players. Take a quick look at the stats here. 1.6 KD ratio, not too shabby. Big advantage in eco in every single category. In fact, twice the gold. Part of that is some rotten mat gem there from Marts. Tricky really did a good job punishing that. Food income was pretty similar. Marts, I think, had a farming eco up and running a bit earlier. Well, no, I guess they had him up at about the same time, but Marts definitely made more farms, right? Had like 25 farms, but Tricky was able to stay on the hunt longer because he established map control. 1,000 more wood, and of course the stone for the castle that we saw at the end, but 7.5 minute difference for castle age. That is crazy. That's wild. And then this, yeah, might not look like much, but 26 seconds difference there. That's enough time for Tricky to get that archer forward. And kind of snowball things from there. All right, well, that will do it for this cast. I'm sure I'll be casting some more of my buddy Tricky's games going forward here. We'll play to Marts, we'll play to Tricky, and good luck to the both of you in week number 3.